Hey guys, in this Spark AR tutorial I want to show you how you can create some basic animations like this. I will walk you through how to animate the position, the rotation and the scale of an object. And I will also show you how you can control this animation. For example, here when I tap on the screen, the animation stops, and when I tap again, the animation continues. So let's go! Hey again! So let's create some basic animations here in the Spark AR Studio. I will walk you through the different types of animations, and we will do some rotation animations, scale animations and also position animations, so we can move around the object here in our scene. To do this I will just create now a plain object, and then I will show you everything how the animations are done on this plain object. And in the end I will also show you how easy it is to change the object of the animation. So when you have done an animation you can also swap it out. So let's do this. As I already said, I want to create a plain object, so I go to my scene, click on the plus, and here I search for plane. So now we have this plane object here in the middle of our screen. I will also give this plane a material. So for this I go to the assets panel, click on the plus, and then I will create a new material. And I will just rename this material to color. Then I go to the right hand side, leave the shader type at standard, go down to shader properties, and then I will just change the color of this object to red. So after I've done this, I will go back to my scene, click on the plane, go to the right hand side and set the red color material for this plane. So now we have this red square in the middle of our screen. So let's animate this square. For this I will open here the patch editor. As I have said, there are two different types of animations. There are loop animations and there are just normal animations. I will cover both in this tutorial, but they are not so different. Now we have this patch editor. Now we go to add patch, and the first patch we will create is a loop animation patch. Create this, so this is the loop animation, and then we will create another patch, and this will be a normal animation patch. So after we have done this, those are the two patches for the loop animation and for the normal animation. Every time you do an animation you will also need a transition patch. So for this, go again to add patch and search for transition. So the transition patch automatically comes preset. I will just disable this square so you can see me better. This transition patch comes preset as a vector 3, and this is fine for a 3D animation, but of course when you want to do a 2D animation you can also set it to vector 2 or to a number, but leave it to vector 3. So now I will set we'll bring back the plane and we will do some programming here. As I've already said, we will do the loop animation first. So the transition patch is set to start at 0, 0, 0, and I will just set the end also to 0, 0, 0. So why do we need a transition patch with vector 3? Because the 3D object has also 3 axes. When you select the plane on the left hand side, go to the right hand side, and you can see here the transformations properties. We have a position with 3 values, a scale with 3 values, and also a rotation with 3 values. And we will animate all 3 of those values. So the first thing we will do is a position transformation. So for this we go to the plane again, click it on the left hand side, go to the right hand side, and now here next to position we can find a little arrow. When we hover over it, it turns yellow. When you click on it, then you will get a yellow patch in your patch editor. So now we are almost there that this gets animated. So here the loop animation has 2 outputs. It has the first output is the progress and the second is the looped output. So here we need the progress output, and we connect this progress output to the progress input of the transition patch. And then the output of the transition patch goes into the 3D position input of our plane patch. So now at the moment the thing is not moving, but we will change this now. So we go to our transition patch and set the X of the end to 0.1. And now you can see that the plane is moving, and yeah, when the animation is finished, it jumps back to the starting point. This is a loop animation. So this doesn't stop, and the duration of this loop animation is 1 second. So it takes 1 second for the plane to start to the end point. So we can also mirror this, so we can also activate here the mirrored property of the loop animation, and now the plane is going back and forth. So now we can also change the start of this transition to minus 0.1. So now the plane is moving from the left side to the right side, and then from the right side to the left side. When I disable mirrored, it is just going from left to right and then loops this. So I can make this slower by setting the duration to 2, and now the plane is moving much slower. Now I can just play around here with the different values. For example, you can also animate the Y too. So you can set the Y to, let's say, 0.15, and now it is also moving a little bit upwards and downwards. Also the set is the depth of the screen, so you can also set this to, let's say, 1, and now it's flying in and out of the screen. So now you can see it better here at this viewport that there is this third axis, the Z axis, which, yeah, it's flying around. Maybe the 1 is too big, so let's set it to 0.2, and now it is much, yeah, smaller. So this was the position animation. So now I want to also do some rotation. So I select again my plane here in the scene, go to the right hand side, and here go to rotation, and also click to the little arrow next to it. So now I will just create a new transition patch, and then I will connect let's do another loop patch also. So also create a new loop animation patch. We can use as many loop animation patches as we want. This connection is wrong, so let's delete this. Spark.AR was automatically creating this. When you get this arrow, so there's nothing moving anymore, just go to the left hand side and click on the play button, and it should work again. So now the transition is preset at the end to 1, 1, 1. Let's do this to 0, 0, 0. Now we want to do a rotation animation, and yeah, rotation is measured in degrees. So from 1 to 360 is a full rotation. So let's do this. Again, connect the progress output to the progress input, and here set, for example, the start to 0 and the end, let's say, to 360. So it should be a full rotation, and also connect the value output of the transition patch to the plane 3D rotation input. And now the plane is also rotating. We can't see the back of the plane. Let's change this. We can change this at the color material. So go to the material, to color, then go down to the render options on the right hand side, and then activate double-sided. This is at the beginning not activated. I don't know why, because it would make sense that it's activated here, and now you can see both sides of this plane, and now it is also rotating. So let's play around here with the transition of the rotation. I will set back the end X to 0 and change the Y to 360. So let's see what's doing this. So now it's rotating in this axis. Set it back to 0, and now animate the Z axis, and now it's also rotating here. So I want to make the rotation way slower, so I set the duration to 500. So here at the rotation, when we do a full rotation, it would be nice that it doesn't mirror, so it just keeps spinning, and that's why I will not activate here the mirrored property. And now we can also animate here our scale of this object. So I select the plane object again in my scene, go to the right hand side and also set the scale here in my patch editor. So hover over the arrow next to scale and click on it. And then again, we have this yellow patch in our patch editor. So we can also just duplicate our loop animation and transition. So just select it, right click on it and click on duplicate. And now we have here those two patches, and now we just have to connect this to our plane. Keep in mind the end is set here to 360, so this will just blow up here. Yeah, now it's so big that we can't see it. So yeah, let's just set, no, it's so small that we can't see it because the end is 0 at X and 0 at Y. So because it's a flat object, we can't see that it's getting thicker here at the set. So let's animate this. I will set down the duration to 2 seconds, and here I will set the end to 1 and also the Y to 1. So now it's getting bigger and then it's getting back smaller, but it's jumping from big to extremely small. So I will activate here mirrored, so it will get bigger and then it will go, yeah. So this looks pretty nice because now the scale takes 2 seconds, and also here the position takes 2 seconds. Then here at the transition patch there is also this curve. When you click here, it is standardly When we take a closer look at the transition patch, there is also this curve value. This is set to linear, but when you open it, there are a lot of options, and those are just how the animation is working. If it's just linear, so it's the speed is always the same, it's getting bigger and smaller at the same speed, but you can also change this to sinusoidal in and out, so it's getting yeah, it has a more, I don't know how to explain it the right way, but yeah, it's getting, at the beginning it is slower, getting bigger, and then it slows down at the end. So you have this sinus curve of the speed. So I will leave it like that because I think that looks pretty nice. So now this was the loop animation, and you can see here the loop animation has also this enable input, so we can just disable this, and now the animation is disabled. I will now build a function that we tap on the screen, this animation starts, and when we tap again, this animation stops again. So for this we need of course a screen tap patch, so we go to add patch, search for screen tap. Then we need also a switch to turn this on and off. So we also have this boolean value. So go again to add patch and search for a switch patch. So now just connect the gesture state output of the screen tap patch to the flip input of the switch. And now connect the switch output of all 3 enable inputs of those 3 loop animations. So now when we tap on the screen, so go to your preview, go to the 3 lines, set it to simulate touch, and when we touch now on the screen, the animation is starting. When we tap again, it stops, and now we tap again, the animation starts again. So this is pretty nice. You see that the object has not the same red as in the beginning because we set the material to standard. When we change the material, so also the light has some influence on the color of the object. When we now go to the material again, to color, when we set it now to flat, it will have this red. It doesn't matter at which angle the object is in the scene. So this was how to create some simple loop animations. Now you can also play around here with all those values, with the position value, for example. Let's set the end y also to minus 0.15, and now it goes all over the screen. So this was the first kind of animation. This was a loop animation. So this just gets on and on and on, and you can enable or disable the loop animation. So now we go to the animation patch, and this has also some almost the same things, but this animation is more but this animation needs a pulse to start, and then it just does the animation once. Then we can also reset here the animation or stop it or do it reverse, but those have all different inputs to control this. We have already done the animation here with the transition, so we can just copy this, because we also need a transition patch for this. So what I will do now is that I will just cut the connection between the transition patch and the plane and the yellow plane object. So just cut this. So now everything is back to normal, and I will take this and grab this down. As I already said, we also need a transition patch for the animation patch, so we can also duplicate this transition of the position. So again, just right click, duplicate. Here it is. Maybe you have to search this second transition patch you have created. Then the animation patch also has a progress output and also has a completed output. So the progress output goes to the progress input of the transition, and then here the value output goes into the 3D position input of the plane. Now we need a trigger that triggers the animation. This could be a blink of the eye, this could be a screen tap, or any other interaction. So again, I go again to add patch, and I will do this with a screen tap. So here's the screen tap, and now the gesture state output goes to the play input. So now when I tap on the screen, the animation is done once and it stops at the end. Now when I want to do this again, I also need to do something here that it also triggers the stop and also the reset. I can also connect this screen tap output to the reset input. So every time I tap on the screen, the animation gets resetted and also it starts. So every time I tap on the screen, this animation is done. And maybe we want just this animation, and when it is here, that it should be disappear. We also can do this. For this we go to the plane, go to the right hand side, go to the visible value, then there's also a little arrow next to it, and then we can just extract it to the patch editor. So now we have it here, and now I want to have it when this is completed. This should disappear. For this we need also a switch patch. So let's create a switch. Connect the output of the switch to the visible input of the plane, and the completed output of the animation goes to turn off. And we also have to turn it on. So when we tap on the screen, it gets turned on. So now it is not visible because it is not turned on yet. But when I tap on the screen, I turn it on. And when it is at the end, it disappears again. And every time I tap on the screen now, this animation happens. So this was great. And now I show you how you can just change the object. So you can also do this. Animation is the same for the rotation and the scale. I hope you get the idea how to animate the position, rotation and the scale. So I will now just delete this again and also delete the visible patch. So now I will connect the first loop animation again, so it does the position animation. So it's doing this, and now I will go to the AR library, go to 3D objects, and here we have the 3D shapes, and I will just here grab a higher sphere primitive. So this is just a sphere, so import it for free, then it's downloading, and when the download is done you can close the AR library. So we have here the higher sphere. To see it in our preview, we just drag and drop it into our scene. I will just drag it underneath the plane, so we have it now here. And now we can just animate this with our patches we have just created. So we want also to do this movement. So I will just here enable this loop animation again. I need to tap to turn it on. But I will now just delete the plane. When we delete the plane, or the yellow patches also gets deleted in the patch editor. So when you watch me doing this, so I delete this, and all the yellow planes are gone. So the sphere is here in the middle. When we go to the scene, again to the sphere, go to the right hand side, we can also extract the same properties: position, scale and rotation, because this is a 3D object here in our 3D space. So now we again click here on the little arrow and we can find the Hyosphere 3D position in the patch editor. Now just connect this again, and when we tap on the screen, this is also moving. So you can just do the animation and then swap out the object. And this was all the magic about the basics animation here in the Spark AR Studio. The best would be just to play around here with all the values, with the start and also with the curve and the duration reset. Yeah, just play around so you get a feeling of it, how this is working. This is also how I learned Spark AR the fastest way. So just create something, play around with the values, do some different connections and just watch what is changing. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. If yes, give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, it would be really nice when you subscribe to it. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!